Or technique here that I suggest is, if not all of these, some of these for each question. Say what you think. Say why you think that. And talk about the result or the consequences of that happening or not happening. And always, when possible, give a short example, because the examples show you can go into detail, and part of the evaluation of your speaking is the ability to go from general ideas into detail ideas. Let's put this into action. So 3 questions here. Why do people enjoy being near water? What are the dangers of water sports? Should governments invest more to promote water sports in schools? And I've just noticed the typo. So or in question 2 should be of. Okay, let's take the first one. Why do people enjoy being near water? It's hard to say. And actually, I don't think everyone enjoys being near the water, especially people who can't swim. Generally speaking, I think there's something about getting back to nature. Water in particular has a soothing effect and can be very therapeutic. When we're near the sea or a stream, the gentle movement of the waves, or even the sound of water rippling up against the shore is very relaxing. Maybe because it reminds us of being back in the womb. Okay. So let's look at the structure first. So I gave an opinion. I actually don't think blah, blah, blah. Now, don't be afraid to contradict the examiner or the question. Not a lot, some questions assume there's a truth behind it. Why do people enjoy being near water? Assumes that it's true. People enjoy being near water. It may not be true. So if you want to contradict, then say so, right? Why do people enjoy being near water? Well, I don't think they do. It's fine. I actually don't think everyone enjoys. I think blah, blah, blah. Giving some examples now. Well, especially people who can't swim, especially people who that's giving your example. And then later giving an example of when we're near the sea or a stream, when we are blah, 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 or when we do blah, blah, blah. And finally, an example here of water. Water in particular has a soothing effect. So I think there's something about getting back to nature. Water in particular, blah, 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 in particular, d. So there it's a particular example, okay? And giving a reason at the end. So the sound of the water rippling up on the shore, it's very relaxing. Maybe because it reminds us of being in the womb. The womb is where your mother carried you for 9 months before you were born. That's where you hear the water. And a lot of people think that's why we like water. It takes us back to the womb. Okay, just having a look at some interesting vocabulary here. Soothing. Something is soothing, it's relaxing. You can have soothing music, soothing effect here. Therapeutic is not only relaxing, but healing. We talked about this earlier on. Something that's therapeutic, it makes you very relaxed and calm. And also rippling here, water rippling up against the shore. So when the water flows in small waves, then it's rippling. When you drop a pebble in the water, there's a rippling effect. Great. Let's have a look at another question. What are the dangers of water sports? Well, it depends on the sport. But take surfing, for example. There are two possible hazards that come to mind. First, when you fall and your board flies into the air, there's a risk it can fall and hit you on the head. If that happens and you lose consciousness, well, you'd probably die of drowning. On the other hand, there are cases of surfers being attacked by sharks. I think this is rare, but it can happen in certain waters. So yeah, it's something you need to consider. Okay. So the structure here. Well, how do I give my opinion? Well, it depends on the sport. So it's not a thinking or an opinion exactly, but it's your opinion is that it depends on the sport. So, how do I give my opinion? Well, it depends on the sport. Take surfing, for example. So that's a nice way of giving an example. Take as an example. First, when you like the last example, when something happens, first when you fall. And another example, or on the other hand, there are cases of, and then it goes on. To give reasons here or consequences, well, if that happens, you'd probably die of drowning. So it's a nice expression to use. If that happens, then something else will happen, or something else would happen, or you'd probably do something. If that happens, you'd probably die of drowning. Okay, let's look at some of the vocabulary. So changing things up a bit, using some synonyms. Instead of danger, we can use hazard. There's also risk you could use. And notice some collocations here. So there are collocations when the words usually sit together, right? Words that often go together. Lose consciousness, which is to become unconscious. So if you faint or you fall over, sometimes you can lose consciousness. Die of drowning, not very happy, I know, but die of something or die from something. You can die from a heart attack. You can die of a heart attack. Both are fine, but here that another collocation, die of doing something. Great. Let us move on to our third question. Should governments invest more to promote water sports in schools? Frankly, I don't think that's an option. Water sports are such a specialised area and need very special equipment and facilities, such as swimming pools and maybe special diving gear. The investment would cost an arm and a leg, and I honestly don't think it would be worth it. What I would suggest is that the government invest in sports across the board. Since kids need to do more exercise, especially nowadays when they tend to live a very sedentary lifestyle. So giving all kids access and opportunity to more sport would be a good move, so we can have a healthy nation. Great. So let's look at the structure. How did I give an opinion? Well, again, I was contradicting the question, if you like. Should governments invest? Well, frankly, no. It's fine to say no. You don't have to agree. I don't think that's an option. Frankly, I don't think that's an option. It's quite strong, but it's fine. And honestly, I don't think it would be worth it. Why in English do we say, I don't think something? Because, of course, you think. Why don't we say, I think, and then the negative later? It's strange, isn't it? But in English, we say, I don't think it's good. Why don't we say, I think it's not good? It's strange. I don't think, because you are thinking, but it's just the grammar. The grammar overrules the logic. So I don't think it would be worth it. What I would suggest is D, D, D. A nice way to give an opinion, quite strong, right? So giving examples here, such as, great way to give examples, such as swimming pools, especially nowadays when, it's another way of giving your example. And then at the end here, we've got the reason. So why? Well, so we can have a healthy nation. So we can, okay, notice the can becomes can, so we can have a healthy nation. Great. And just finishing up some more collocations here. Collocations are interesting. I have a lot of students who say things like, oh, there was a big rain yesterday. We don't say big rain in English. We say heavy rain. Why? Collocations. These are words that usually go together. So here, diving gear. Gear just means clothes. So you don't say diving clothes, you say your diving gear. It's your clothes for diving. It could include the equipment, but gear, yeah, in sport it can be the equipment. It's often used for clothes as well. A sedentary lifestyle. So a way of living with little activity. It's a very common expression and collocation. A sedentary lifestyle. Do you lead a sedentary lifestyle? Idiomatic expressions. Great here. Expensive. Change it. Cost an arm and a leg. Cost an arm and a leg. Don't ask me why. Across the board. So invest in sports across the board in all aspects, not just one particular one. And it's a good move. If something's a good idea, yes, I think it's a good idea. Yes, I think it's a good move. And I'm not sure if that comes from chess, where you used to move your pieces and say that was a good move or a bad move, but it's used a lot for a good idea or a bad idea. Yes, that would be a good move.